that's my next thing. So
Yeah.
let's talk about that. As far as some of the principles and how to escalate when things are not working, and some of the terminology that you can
Yeah.
refer to.
Some of the Amazonian the language, right? Yeah, for
Right.
sure. Um, so I mean, starting with your set of cases, let's just take this image example into play, right? Um, you're doing everything, you're meeting the image requirements, just something is not working. You've submitted many cases, seller support has not helped you, right? You have a backlog of multiple cases. You've been there, everybody's been there where you have 10 cases, 20 cases where you're trying to get somebody to solve the issue, but they can't, right? Um, a lot of times these are more prominent issues. Perhaps your listing got taken down for a compliance issue, and the seller support and the compliance team won't tell you what it is, right? You've been there where you're like, just tell me what the issue is and I'll fix it. But they have to be very careful about how they feed you information, right? Because they're trying to cover their end. But some of these more high level issues you just can't get resolved. And you have a backlog. You've shown, you have documentation of what you've tried to do. The next kind of steps I would recommend, as I said, getting on the phone, right? Um, with the seller support agent, you're on the phone. What? Or, you're on email, right? The first escalation path, I would take and I'd use, I'd weave these leadership principles in there because Amazon is very, they live and they breathe the leadership principles. If you don't know them, Google them. Some of the ones that I like to use, or even in my everyday life, since I'm indoctrinated to the philosophy, would be, having taking a bias for action, meaning that, hey, can you help me, tackle this issue? And can you be like customer obsessed, right? That's a huge leadership principle over there. Those are the two that I kind of try to weave in like an email. I'm always very kind to these representatives as well. Like, kindness goes a long way and we're showing respect, right? So it's easy to get angry, but they're just doing their jobs. So, leaning on these leadership principles and trying to craft them in your language, I think can really help them get into action and try to help resolve your issue. One other thing,
So
the
tell me the first one. What's the first one?
yeah, so taking a bias for action. It's kind of
Taking
like
advice for action. You know,
yeah,
I've never heard this one. This one is new. Taking a bias for action.
taking a bias for action. Yeah, yeah, I like that one. I mean, when I was at Amazon, I was always taking a bias for action to, get things done, right? There are so many common sense issues that you see, like why is this happening? Like, can you not see how commonsensical the resolution to this problem is? Like, can you take a bias for action to try to fix this when we see like there's an obvious path to resolution, right?
Okay.
Um, I like cut, the number one leadership principle is customer obsession. I
Yeah,
mean, we
that's the
as
second one.
sellers, yeah,
Customer.
we're their customers, so
Yeah.
I'd like you to take more customer centric, obsessed approach into, helping you
So
solve this.
this is a so when I was a seller,
Yeah,
I learned this, and maybe today it's a little bit better, but it's still the case. You are the third grade citizen if you are a seller, as far as Amazon is concerned. Customer comes first, and as a seller, you are worth nothing. Just get in line, and you are guilty before proving innocent, your innocence. That's how they look at you. If some, God forbid, something went wrong, then you're guilty right from the get-go. So that's the way they seem to approach. However, so I mean, this obviously aggravates the seller. So whatever you're trying to do, what I'm hearing from you about applying the customer obsession principle is explain to the agent or the support staff that this is going to ultimately hurt the Amazon customer. So therefore, help me fix this so that I can serve the Amazon customers better. Like wrapping it up in that sense, right?
Absolutely. Yes, that's another great way to position yourself. Um, that this is ultimately hurting, right, the buyer on Amazon. My listing was taken down. You're not telling me why. We've been selling for years, and all of a sudden this has happened. This is affecting Amazon, customer base, right? The buyers are no longer able to buy this item, and it's been selling for millions of dollars on the platform for years. Classic scenario, just one day to the next, something goes wrong, and then it's, this huge fire for a seller, right? And it's significant if it's a high ticket or a fast moving product. It's not good. So like you said, yeah, proven guilty before or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
They got a system they follow. They have, their algorithm that triggers things that it sees that might be harmful to their protecting, Amazon's assets. And so, yeah, I agree with that statement. Weave that in, not only, let's take a customer obsessed approach to both my situation and ultimately the buyer on Amazon.